I think my main highlights of this project have been the delivery of the activities. So the stop frame animation workshop went so much better than I could have ever imagined. The content that the children created was just brilliant. I was so pleased with that, and it was clear on the first day where we have families in that they were going to make something amazing.
Because when you're working with children, it's not just about the end product, but it's about the process and the skills that the children are developing along the way as well.
It was really great to be able to go around the museum first to get that inspiration, and then be able to sort of explore that deeper through the actual creating of a movie. So it was able to they were able to talk through some of their thinking and some of their ideas of what they've gathered from the morning.
So we've been working with the Brownies, which has meant that I've had the opportunity to create new resources for them and for other uniform groups as well. And this has opened my eyes to a whole new realm of possibilities. So thinking about how our story, our galleries can link to their themes of exploration and support the work that they're doing. There's a whole host of new things that we can explore as a result of that.
One of the highlights personally for me was our Dowding Systems Families Forum. So we're able to bring families of the WAF veterans together to share their families' experiences. So they are now the custodians of their stories, and they were able to compare stories, but also learning from each other's family stories, because a lot of their mothers hadn't spoken about what had happened during the war, and they were able to take pieces of the puzzle from other people's experiences. We also were able to bring Lord Dowding in for that day, and so they were able to meet Dowding's family, and as I said, that second generation now who will continue their story.
One of the sons turned around and said if it wasn't for us as a museum contacting him, he wouldn't have known about the vital role his mum played during the Battle of Britain. When that gentleman turned around and said, I never realised what my mother did and how important her role was in the Battle of Britain, I think it's very, very important for us to capture that information now so that future generations, future grandchildren, great-grandchildren can learn about what their grandmother, great-grandmother did during the Battle of Britain and the Second World War.
When we started to explain what these people have really done, her face just lit up. It was, you could see it as a real, oh wow moment. I think she thought her relative had just been in the WAF, and the WAF were just giving basic support to the RAF, and it was very apparent from talking to her that she had absolutely no clue as to the depth of hardship in one way, I suppose, but also professionalism, which her relative had shown.
They didn't know what their mum had done really until they discovered the diaries, and like most of the WAF, they never said a word, and so it was quite a surprise to them to find just how much she was involved and how much she'd done. So it's a real privilege to take them round and to be part of that.
I enjoyed the whole experience, but the real highlight was installation day. Suddenly all the things that we've been doing, and all the volunteers really put their backs into it, and the curators had made a sort of structure, and they allowed us to paint it and put things in, and suddenly everything's going up on the walls, and the thing is becoming a story. It's becoming a sophisticated sort of piece of history that was fun as well. And a lot of the things that happen with the WAFs have been very understated, and it was our turn to bring it to life. It's so important for young people, especially for young girls. The wars weren't only won by very brave pilots with guns, and the girls were knitting and making tea. These were 18, 19-year-old girls who'd been picked for a very special job and doing it fantastically well.
To know what those women did all those years ago, and then they can now go on. Hopefully they'll explore some more about what women did in that time. Even if they don't look back in time, they will be inspired, I'm absolutely sure, to go on and do great things with their lives.
Only that I was incredibly proud of it. A lot of my family came to have a look at it too, and it was a very nice moment to be able to show them my name on the wall, be able to show them what I'd done and how important it was.
Because these WAF was so fascinating a group of women that I found that I would read their stories and I just get involved and absorbed in it all.
I thought what was fantastic was the day we spent at the historical branch with Sebastian Cox, who's the head of the branch. And he taught us, together with the people there, how to mine for information at the National Archives at Kew. Searching through the archives, you can see how things improved immensely and the major contribution that women in the WAF made to the war effort.
The National Archives really helped with skills that will not only benefit me in this project, but will benefit me in future projects, either here or elsewhere, that are really invaluable.
So as part of an important legacy of the project, creating a permanent interactive timeline that will take the collection that we've digitised and make it accessible to a wide audience.
It's really important for young people and girls in particular to engage with that history of the WAF, because it's a hugely significant part of a story, but it's not often well known. So the story of the Battle of Britain might be well known, but the work that happened behind the scenes, particularly by women in the WAF, is often overlooked.
It's not taught in mainstream war education, which I think is a real shame, that no light's really shed on them. Modern society, I feel like we're quite disconnected now, or people don't see the power that you can have when everyone works together. And the WAF is an amazing example of ordinary people doing amazing things and really making a difference.
When we talk about the Battle of Britain, we all think of Churchill's famous words of how so much was owed to so many by so few. And yes, the pilots were important, extremely important. But it is no exaggeration to say that without the Clerk's special duties, those at the lowest level of the WAF, the thousands of them in the radar stations, in the operations room, and even in this filter room, without them, we would not have had victory in the Battle of Britain.